Coach, why did coming to Oregon make sense for you? What was this transition like? What was the interview process like? What was, kind of explain that journey for yourself?
I think the interview process was kind of interesting. I knew, so Drew Manager actually coached me at Rutgers when I was a player, and me and Rashad Samples have known each other for a couple of years. He was in LA while I was in New England in the NFL, so I had two connects on the staff already. Did not really have a previous relationship with Coach Lanning, but I knew a lot of people who did know him. And he's just somebody who I've kind of watched from afar from his time at Georgia, from his time as the head coach here at Oregon. It was a great ascending program. Just you see the trajectory. Like they won the Holiday Bowl first year, went 10-3, then they went 12-2, and then last year won the Big Ten championship, go 13-0. And I just saw the young talent within the wide receiver room and just the talent on the roster overall in general. So it made it very attractive. And luckily, I got an interview. Once I kind of got the interview, I knew that nobody was going to beat me out. So I'm just thankful that Coach Landon gave me the opportunity and bet on me. So I'm going to prove him right.
Right here on the left, James.
People can look at the statistics and certainly see the impact that you helped have at Syracuse last season, though adding Kyle McCord certainly helps in a big way in that. How would you describe the impact that you had both in what you inherited in the room, guys you brought in who had big impacts, guys you inherited who hadn't had the kind of seasons they had until you showed up, and how do you try to replicate that here?
No, definitely proud of what we were able to accomplish at Syracuse. You just look at the kids we had in the room. Kyle McCord, he kind of got dumped to the wayside at Ohio State after they lost to Michigan, and he was a guy who kind of went through the transfer portal process and didn't really have a home, and he had a home at Syracuse. And then the guys who I inherited in my room, it was a bunch of guys who were counted out, doubted, underappreciated, and really didn't have career statistics like Jackson Meeks. When he first, he spent 3 years at Georgia. He had like 10 catches, 132 yards. Trevor Pena was at Rutgers, or not Rutgers. He was at Syracuse for 4 years, had 20 catches, 270 yards or something like that. But, those guys, they stayed down, they trusted the plan, they put the work in, and it was a long process. But at the end of the day, those guys were truly bought in. They got better every single day, and we were able to have the best pass offense in the country. And I just hope to replicate that here. It's, again, kind of similar situation where, Evan Stewart returns, he has some production. Gary Bryant, he's played in his career before. Corey Moore, true freshman. J-Lo played a little bit last year. But it's a bunch of guys who might not have all the accolades and the stats and the All-Big Ten honors and things like that. But at the end of the day, these are talented players and they're willing to put the work in. So we're just focused on getting better every single day. So I hope to kind of replicate that same thing here at Oregon.
Speaker on the right, Zach.
Other coaches have said that once they got to Oregon and started, recruiting with that O on their chest, they felt a little bit different. If you kind of had that experience?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, it does hit a little different when you got the Oregon behind you. But no, nonetheless, the same mindset, mentality that I've had everywhere I've been, whether it's been at Syracuse, whether it's been the New England Patriots, whether it's been at the University of Richmond when I was a corners coach. I mean, the same mindset, same mentality. I'm going to come to work every single day, bring positive energy to the building, and give my all every single day I step in this building to the coaching staff and to the players. So that ain't going to change regardless of what logo I have on.
Back left, Matt.
Kind of touched on Corey Moore briefly there. Just did you recruit him previously? Did you have a relationship or not? And then I guess just what's kind of stood out about him since you've been able to practice 6 times now?
Great question. I did not have a previous relationship with him, but what sticks out to me is he's a young ascending player who's very, very talented and he wants to be great. So the want to and desire for him to be a good player is there. So now he's a young player. He just has to get reps. So he has to adjust the speed of the game. High school, he steps on the field every time. He's better than every single buddy here. And college football, it might be the same way. But at the end of the day, now he just has to adjust the speed of the game, get on the same page as with all the quarterbacks, and just continue to get reps. The only way you get better at playing football is by playing football. So he's just doing that right now. He's out there. He's available. He's doing everything he can to make sure he's a good football player.
James on the left.
Mentioned Evan before. What does he have to do? He's probably the most significant returning offensive player from a skill positions standpoint. Do you look at him as either a X or a Z? Versatility helps, but having a spot certainly helps as well. And what does he have to do to become that 1,000+ yard receiver for this team?
I look at him as an offensive weapon. I mean, he's been kind of playing ever since he was a freshman at Texas A&M, so he has a lot of production in his career, and now for him to become a 1,000-yard receiver, it's just to build on the consistency and him being able to stay healthy. That's really it. So we just have to become more consistent on the down in and down out basis. We're just doing our job, knowing what to do, knowing how to do it, and out competing our component. But he's very, very talented. He has a lot of ability. And for him to become a 1,000-yard receiver, I just think it's just an overall consistency. And, it's been a pleasure to coach him. He's in my office every morning at 6 in the morning. We're watching a lot of tape, making sure he's good on all of his assignments, his route detail, and all that. So it's been a pleasure to work with him. I'm excited to see where his work takes him.
Two more, Eric, then Zach.
Ross, I'm not sure you've spent a whole lot of time on the West Coast. I'm just curious on kind of what it's like being out here and kind of maybe if there's any culture shock, kind of what stands out. I know you've only been here, you're probably nose down on football, but just kind of what your first impressions have been.
No, I like the West Coast. I mean, shoot, I think the biggest culture shock is I have a 1.5-year-old son, and he's adjusting to the Pacific time zone, so that's kind of been the biggest culture shock. He's waking up at 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, and, I have to get up with him. My wife has to get up with him, so I'll just say that's the biggest adjustment so far. But, no, I like the West Coast. I mean, I've never lived the furthest west I've ever lived in my entire life was Michigan, and that's the Midwest. So, no, I like it out here. I think it's beautiful. I love the energy out here. I think this is a great football program, a great university, great people. Everyone I've met has been very welcoming and very pleasant. So, no, I've enjoyed my experience so far. So, I'm from Ohio, so me coming all the way out here, no, I like it out here. It feels like home.
Last question, Zach.
Junior Adams, very well-respected coach. What's it like kind of being the next guy? Like, how do you fill those shoes? How do you deal with the pressure that comes with that?
Yeah, Junior, everywhere he's been, not just Oregon. I know he was at Oregon, he was at Washington. Everywhere he's been, he's kind of recruited at a high level and coached at a high level. So, big hats off and big respect to him. And he's going to do a heck of a job with the Dallas Cowboys. He has some good pieces to work with, good quarterback. And I'm excited to see what he does with the Dallas Cowboys. But, I'm just sure. Junior Adams is Junior Adams. Ross Douglas is Ross Douglas. So I'm just ready to just kind of make my own stamp and show what I have. I have big shoes to fill. So I just want to take it, put my spin on it, and run with it. And hopefully hopefully that translates to a lot of success within the wide receiver room.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you. Thank y'all. Good to meet y'all.